Ignited, Chapter 5, When I Became King of the Trash Heap. Quixotic took a deep breath, breathing in the smoggy air as he stood in front of the small shack in the junkyard. Tracking the man down was strangely the easiest part. The more difficult part was getting the money to be able to travel over here. And at 15 years old, all by himself in foster care, it was nearly impossible to get a steady income to do so. But Quixotic was determined. But what was about to happen next was the hardest part of all. Quixotic went to knock on the door, but stopped, wondering if he should have worn something more formal for his first meetup, other than jeans and a stupid t-shirt. But all he had in that department was his old school uniform, which might be a bad idea, considering a school uniform designed to look like Japanese military might bring up bad memories to a U.S. vet that has been in war with them. Quixotic then ran his hands through his shaggy black hair, panicked. He meant to get a haircut before coming here. He heard that American men hate shaggy hair. Oh no, what's he supposed to do now? But before he can do anything, the door to the small hut opened. A big, burly Caucasian man with thick black hair that covered his head and face answered the door. "Can I help you?" Quixotic took the man's appearance in. Some of the pressure released a little when he noticed the man didn't look anything like the beautiful Americans he's seen on TV. The man wore a stained white wife beater, and his eyes were bloodshot. "Look, kid, if you're messing with my property." The man reached for the gun he had in his pocket of his blue jeans. That's when Quixotic noticed that he only had one arm. "Wait! I'm Quixotic Foon." "Yeah?" The man gave a quizzical look. "And?" "My mom is Yuki Foon," explained Quixotic. "I don't know anyone by that." "Piss off, kid. I'm not looking to buy anything." The man went to shut the door when Quixotic shoved his torn-up red sneaker into the doorway. "I'm not selling anything. The door pinched as he squeaked out his next words. "I'm your son." The man stopped in his tracks. "I mean, this is the right place. You are Peter Johnson, right?" asked Quixotic. The burly man looked down at Quixotic, his blurry vision peering into the younger male. "What was your name again?" "Quixotic Foon." The man thought to himself for a moment. Foon. Which one was Foon? He rubbed his forehead as if trying to recall. That name seemed Japanese, and so did the boy, but when was the last time he was even in Japan? Then it dawned on the man. The war. "How old are you?" 15. "Yeah, that checks out," Johnson mumbled to himself. "Shit." "If you want, I can retake the DNA test with you," said Quixotic. "It was actually a lot harder to track down a match to mine than you think. I had to sift through a lot of medical records. A lot." Quixotic trailed off as the older man kicked open the door to the house. A bunch of beer bottles fell over into a pile of other ones. Quixotic stood in the doorway, looking into the dimly lit room. "Close the door and get in here, or close the door and leave. I'm not paying for the air conditioning to go outside." "Pardon the intrusion." Quixotic quickly stepped inside and took off his shoes, closing the door behind him, when he noticed Mr. Johnson still walking around his house with his shoes on. "Why not? My day's already ruined anyways," scoffed Mr. Johnson. "I didn't get a notice from any lawyer, so what does your mother want for this to be gone? How much do I have to pay to get out of child support?" "How much?" Quixotic's eyes widened when he realized what he meant. "Oh, no, I don't want your money, sir. My mom's..." He looked around for the words. "Gone? So I just want to live with and get to know you, sir." "Listen, kid, are you sure there's nowhere else you can go? I don't have any other beds or anything. Maybe you'd be better with foster care or something?" Quixotic had spent the whole year in foster care, lumped in with a crowd of kids, all of them stronger and more powerful than he was. the worst being a 5-year-old who had the power to control a person's blood. He remembers the toddler using his powers to puppet Quixotic around unwillingly. Quixotic's only highlight in those days was watching the heroes at their work, protecting the weak from the strong. That was something he wanted to do. He wanted to protect powerless people like himself. The first step would be getting into the Xavier Academy, the hero school in New York. But before he could do that... "That's okay. I can sleep pretty much anywhere," said Quixotic optimistically. "You won't even know I'm here. Most of the day I'll be at your public high school, not that far from here." "Sure," said Mr. Johnson, levitating a beer towards himself with one arm. "As long as I don't have to do any..." The beer can was only halfway to his hand when he lost its telekinesis pull and dropped it to the dirty floor. Tears brimmed Mr. Johnson's dark eyes before he clenched his fist and stomped his foot on the beer can. "Fucking stupid! Never works anymore! Fuck physical therapy! I might as well be a powerless, useless fuck!" Quixotic jolted as the grown man kicked his foot into the drywall. Quixotic continued to look at the stump of a man's arm. Did missing an arm affect telekinesis that much? Or was it the mental trauma of losing it? He wondered. What are you looking at?" Mr. Johnson seethed. "Oh, I was just hoping you can tell me how you and my mother met?" asked Quixotic. "You don't want to know," said Mr. Johnson. "I do. I want to hear all about it. Please, tell me about you and my mother." "Well, it was sometime during the war, and she was a beautiful, young woman." Mr. Johnson rubbed the back of his neck. "So, I bought a hotel room, and yeah, you're old enough to know. When a man meets a woman, they, do adult things. And so that's what happened. Don't say I didn't warn you, kid," he added quickly. Quixotic's eyes brimmed with tears. He didn't understand why, but he had always hoped maybe his conception was different from his other half-siblings. It was a stupid long shot, but he was kind of hoping maybe his father was different from the others who paid her to bring them home for the night. Maybe he was a secret love child, a war vet from America and a girl from the warring country of Japan, like Romeo and Juliet. Maybe they secretly loved each other, or maybe his father was an American superhero that had distanced himself from Quixotic and his mother to fight an underground immortal supervillain who had threatened to become the king of the world. Quixotic then could become the world's best superhero in his stead because his father would give him a superpower, which are, passed on just by, eating his hair or spit. Never mind, that's gross. But just anything would be better than his reality. Tin jumped in front of Quixotic in the present, his arm turning into a blade, slicing through Quixotic's past like a roll of film. The bullet sliced in two before it hit the ground. Phoenix's muscular chest heaved as he glared at his nemesis, gun in his hand. He sat on one knee, the giant pencil stabbed into the floor next to him. "That's our cue to leave," said Tin. Quixotic snapped out of his thoughts and rubbed his tear-stricken eyes. This old run-down high school had brought back too many memories for his liking. "No, not yet! I can't leave Dr. Baleful," said Quixotic. Tin looked at the corpse of a woman sitting in her chair. "Let's leave this to Metamorpho," said Tin. "You have a destiny to carry out." "I'm not leaving until me and Dr. Baleful get our revenge," said Quixotic. Without another word, Tin picked Quixotic up and threw him over his shoulder. "Put me down!" yelled Quixotic, kicking Tin's back. Quixotic grabbed Dr. Baleful's decaying hand, accidentally snapping it off. The corpse fell out of her chair and hit the ground. Quixotic's eyes widened as he continued to be carried off by the sturdy hick. "Get back here, you coward!" yelled Phoenix. He aimed his gun at Quixotic again and fired, but this time a huge eraser cut through the air between them. "Do you like my props?" said the ninja, sitting on top of the roof beams. "It's all in the theme. I believe a story is nothing without them." The ninja pulled out 3 rulers that sat in between his fingers. I would rather die than go without themes. The rulers grew in size, bigger and bigger as they headed towards Phoenix. Phoenix dodged all 3 of them as they stuck into the ground. It's a good thing your old rundown school has all these old school supplies laying around, said the ninja. When I heard that we were going to be in a school setting, I didn't know what I was to do. I needed to stay within the theme. Well, you're in luck then, bud, yelled Phoenix, pointing his gun at the teenager on the beams. Because you can stay within the theme of choking on my dick. The ninja pulled out a Harry Potter book, enlarging it with his powers. The bullet didn't even go through the cover before it stopped. You have quite the potty mouth, you know, said the ninja. Too bad you need a hall pass to go to the bathroom. The ninja threw the hall pass. It grew and grew before it landed over the top of the pencils and rulers that stuck out of the floor. Crap! Yelled Phoenix. That's when Phoenix noticed the enemy had entrapped him in a maze made out of enlarged school supplies. See, you're trapped in a maze of themes and have to untangle your way out, laughed the ninja. Come, let's hope your character growth is strong enough to make it out alive. Come and face me like a man, you chode smoker, yelled Phoenix. Phoenix got out a sword and began chopping away at the large pencils. That's when a tiny pair of scissors the size of a needle stuck into his arm. Ugh! Phoenix dropped his sword, clutching his bleeding arm. Oh, you, laughed the ninja. Quixotic specifically said you had to participate in these party games. You have to follow the rules now. Go by the theme. Fucking how many times do I have to tell you peons? Yelled Phoenix, taking out his machine gun. You have to carve your own path and take the win, he continued, wood shavings and bullets littering the floor. More of the needles stuck into Phoenix, but he didn't budge. Or take the L and piss off, loser! The large pencils were nothing but dust when Phoenix got done with them. The ninja went to jump to another beam, but slipped and fell to the cold gymnasium floor. Phoenix's daunting figure loomed over the teen. I'm done playing nursery games with little shit-eating brats, panted Phoenix. I'm out of here. The kid quivered. Phoenix turned around, raising an eyebrow. I can expand the needles in your skin and kill you. I dare you, growled Phoenix. The kid who was with ease expanding and shrinking things a moment ago now shook with his hand raised to the bigger foe, who shredded his obstacle course. Phoenix began walking towards the kid, and the kid unconsciously scooted back until his back hit the wall. A row of bullets left Phoenix's machine gun and rattled onto the wooden floor beside him. Ah, please don't kill me! The teen jolted. Are we done here? Asked Phoenix. Because I'm done with the bullshit today, he said, turning around and leaving. Stubborn old jackass, the teen mumbled, sitting in his own puddle of piss. Phoenix already left to chase after Quixotic, who had already made it to the outside stairwell that led up to the old school media tower. I said, put me down, Quixotic yelled, hitting Tin hard on the back. Tin staggered a bit, but kept on running without a word. I'm sorry I left you behind back there, Dr. Baleful, cried Quixotic, clutching the dismembered hand. I'm doing this for you and others like us. I promise. I'll finish our life's work and finally make you proud of me. Quixotic took the corpse's hand and patted his dark hair lovingly with it. The petting brought him comfort along with more memories of his first time meeting her. A day that was considered the best, worst day of his life.